And in that, of course, the role of the multinationals has been groundbreaking in the sense that they have done that 15 years ago, right, or maybe 20 years ago. So I think everyone who has ever worked for or with a global multinational R&D intensive company knows that innovation really is something that's not going to happen at one specific place, but it's going to happen where the best resources are. So Swiss specifics, I think we have a cluster with all the components present for the innovation ecosystem. We have a stable political framework. The human resources are there twice. Why are there twice there? Oh, yes. We have human resources in terms of migration. We have, in Switzerland, we have 23% foreign population. So 23% of the residents are actually not Swiss. And as we are boxing sort of way above our weight in terms of innovation, we actually need those people to be in Switzerland and to do research and to provide leadership in companies, et cetera, et cetera. The second one I already talked about, training and education, not only in the higher education, but also in technical and vocational training. And of course, a functioning financial system here, having, for instance, 41% of the European biotech market at the Swiss exchange would probably say something to that. And this is my final slide here. I want to talk about some sort of non-tangibles or hard-to-touchies. Tradition. There's a sort of a Swiss tradition in precision manufacturing that has helped to sort of foster a lot of the industries we're talking about today, like medical technologies. It's sort of a direct descendant of the watchmaking industry. Then, of course, culture. And I think, you know, the Swiss are sort of a bunch of humorless, stuck-up, super precise people. They're not really fun, right, in general. But it helps, you know, it helps with the other thing. It helps with being, you know, really precise in doing that. But they're also, but then, you know, they're kind of like that. But then if you walk through the streets of you know, a sleepy small town like Bern, you find people, you know, 6 o'clock in the evening, everybody's sitting outside and having a beer and just enjoying life in general. So they have that side too, and there is a, and they sort of have to have always the newest and best technology. The new technology uptake in the Swiss population is extremely high, extremely high. So a lot of internet, a lot of the latest gadgets and everything. So I think there's those two sides, and I know this is hard to quantify, but I think these are also components of an innovation system that at the end of the day do matter in how the whole ecosystem actually functions. So I'm in sort of inversing the usual order here. We tend to think local and act global. I think that's one of the things we do in Switzerland, and sort of the local thinking or the local culture and the sort of the Swissness in doing something is also something that actually translates into the global Swiss innovation enterprise. So if I represent the Swiss innovation system, I really kind of represent that in a way, and this is the one that's hard to quantify. So if you talk about a secret sauce, I can't really give you the recipe for that, but I think what is important is that in any given area or any given innovation system you look at, I think what's important is that all the components are present, that the connections are made between all of these components, and that you look at the bottlenecks that may exist. If everyone's there but they're not talking, that's not enough. If someone's missing, bring them to the table. I think that's what has helped Switzerland to have this type of performance over the long term, and I'd be happy to take any questions. Thank you so much.